Hello friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. And I'm here for another Monday this and that vlog where I talk about all kinds of different topics, maybe leading you back to some old videos or answering questions or comments that have come in the past week or whatever I feel like talking about. So let's get to the topics of today, starting off with the natural antivirals. So I actually just reshot my natural antivirals video because, well, it got taken down again. So I decided just to reshoot the whole thing because I don't know what was wrong with the one I had edited and not getting a good explanation on that. So I figure I'd reshoot the whole video, but since it's still got several weeks before it publishes, I thought I'd go over a few of those things today and just showing you a few things I have going on. So right here is I actually had a short, I'll put it right here, of me making this rosemary extract. This is an excellent one. I finally just finished off the last of the one I made several years ago. And the thing I really like about it, especially the longer you let that fresh rosemary sit in the solvent, it gives it more of a, mentholatum kind of effect. You know, you kind of feel it sort of opening up the passages. But rosemary is a natural antiviral. And then you have, obviously, your honey-infused garlic. I have all kinds of different, I make it different every time. But I do have a video out, by the way, where I go over some different ways you can make your honey-infused garlic. It can just be honey and garlic, or you can add stuff to it, which I always do. I'm always adding some kind of spices to this one. You can kind of see the little white pieces in there. That is my homegrown, dehydrated, and powdered up, more like granulated horseradish. So it kind of makes it a little more similar to like a fire cider when you do it that way. Except for fire cider doesn't typically have honey in it. But fire cider, and no, I don't have a video on this. Maybe one of these days I'll do one. Fire cider is another good one. There's a lot of similarities there. And it's really about getting all those very hot, spicy type things in there. Pungent, strong things. So, your ginger, your garlic, your white onions, because they're typically the hottest, some jalapeno or other types of peppers. I had the last batch I made many years ago, I added turmeric to, and I blended it up. That's how I like to take it. And then I'd eat it with a spoon rather than pour off the liquid and drink it. But anyway, it's vinegar is what's typically used in that. And you also have the horseradish in there. So that's a really good option. That's something you can take daily, just a little bit every day to help prevent getting sick, or start taking it when you feel the symptoms coming on. And then, of course, you have elderberry syrup, which is another good one that we are currently taking every day. And then this one here is my elderberry tinctures, elderberry spice tincture. So I have the elderberry spice syrup, which is a little bit different. This I made actually to be a throat spray. So it's made with a higher proof alcohol, and it's ready. It's been going for 3 months, and you can see how dark it is. You can't even see the cinnamon sticks and other things that are in there. But it has a little bit of everything in there. So I just put that in a brown glass bottle like this, and then I can use it as a throat spray. So this will help. The higher proof alcohol, when you're doing something like that, is nice because it helps to numb the throat. Plus you got the elderberry and all the spices in there, just kind of killing off any viruses and whatnot. Obviously you don't want to do something like maybe a cayenne pepper for something like that if you have a sore throat. So I don't have that in there, but ginger and the like I have in that. So that's just a few examples of some of the antivirals that I make, and there's more out there. And one of them I can't mention on one of the two platforms you guys are watching us on right now, because remember, I'm on YouTube and on Rumble. My videos get published at both places at the same day. And while I'm thinking of it, if you see more recently a couple days where a video is not being published on Rumble, it's because the full video is already on Rumble and you'd have to go look for it. But I had to edit, like take down, edit a video, and then put it back up on YouTube so that would be more friendly to their community standards. So, yeah, anyway, be watching for that video because I also go over a lot more herbs and other things that are good natural antivirals, things that you can grow wild, that you can find wild growing around you, or you can just grow in your own garden. The list is long. There are so many good ones that you can use. And what you'll also find is typically the things that are good for fighting viral infections are also good for fighting bacterial infections. So the other thing I wanted to bring up was a shepherd's crook coffee, which I finally decided to try. Now, Zach has talked about this from American Homestead, and oh my goodness, I can smell it. It smells so good. And also then Luca Baffy from the Life podcast. And so I've decided to finally give them a try, and I absolutely love this coffee. So the two blends I got to start with were the Peru and the Honduras. Well, these aren't actual blends. These are just the coffees from where they are. The Honduras, even though I usually prefer a dark roast, Honduras is a medium roast, where the Peru is a dark roast. I love them both, and I have more coming in. I am so excited to try. And so I'll give you an update on that down the road, but they were kind enough to set up a coupon code that I can share with you so you can get 25% off your very first order by when you go to their site, which I'll have linked in the description box, and then putting in the coupon code RAIN25, you can get 25% off your first order. So you might want to give them a try if you're just looking for a good organically grown coffee beans. It's just an excellent coffee, and you're supporting a small family-owned US-based business at the same time. Anyway, highly recommend their coffee, just on the two that I've tried so far. And then while I'm speaking of products, let me go ahead and bring up the Nakano knives. And I was right, they did. Thankfully, by the time last week's video, This and That published, they had the 30% Black Friday discount already going on as long as you put in their code. But you can also use my own code, Rain Country, and get that same 30% off as long as this is going on, which I think ends tomorrow from the day you're seeing this. I think it ends either today or tomorrow, Monday or Tuesday, for that particular discount. But just make sure you go through if you're interested in those knives. Now, they are going to be more of an expense, and no, you do not have to order expensive knives to be able to cook your own food, but I do love these quite a bit. I actually have another micarta coming in, which is a medium-sized utility knife, and I'll be doing an update on that once I get it in. Some others, I have other steak knives. Some of these I purchased. Some of these they were kind enough, generous enough to bless me with. I also have purchased their utility or their paring knife sets, a set of 3. Love them. And then I have the full set, Mito set. This is the first ones they sent me. Was the Mito set, and I love these too, but I do have to say the micarta is better. It is more expensive, but it's better in the fact that I've never had to sharpen it yet, where these, they're just a little bit softer steel, so that means they need to be sharpened more. But it can be a great place to start if you're wanting some good knives that aren't quite so expensive. But I just like to always say this with the reminder that some of my favorite knives I found at garage sales. So I had the Pioneer Woman knife set, and I found that at a garage sale for a really good price. They were used, and they were great knives. I do like these better, but those knives serve their purpose. But I just want to share that for people who are interested. I know some people that did purchase these knives through my link that have come back and said how much they love those knives, and so I want to share that with you as well. But I mostly am bringing this up because if you've been thinking about it, now's the time to get to look at them, because 30% off is usually their highest, their best sale price that they have going on. So now let's talk about the pumpkin pie made with dehydrated pumpkin. So I got dehydrated pumpkin right here. This is actually from, I think I dried it back in 2021. And so actually today, the day I'm shooting this, is Thanksgiving Day morning, nice and early, because I got to turn around right when I'm done and get this my turkey in the oven. But it was my first time finally making the pumpkin pie using the dehydrated pumpkin. And so I haven't had a chance to taste it yet, but I've tasted the batter. It tastes so good. So if you'd like to learn more about dehydrating pumpkin, or any squash for that matter, I'll link to that full video down below and talk about some of the many ways that you can use the dried pumpkin. But this is, I finally got around to making a pie. It looks beautiful. You can see a couple pictures of it here. And what I did is, the ratio I put in the video was like 1 part pumpkin powder to 8 parts water. But in this, I did actually, for the pie, because I wanted to make sure it turned out nice and rich and flavorful, was I doubled the amount of the pumpkin part. So it was more like, you would say 1 part pumpkin to 4 parts water. Actually, instead of rehydrating it with water, I rehydrated it with half and half to make it even richer. And then 2 cups of that, and then put in about a total of a half cup of the dried pumpkin, so it just turned out really rich. And I did taste the batter. It's so good. And then the other thing I did use in there, in place of using fresh eggs, just because I figured, well, I'm using dehydrated pumpkin, I might as well use some dehydrated egg powder, and I put that in there as well. And it looks like it's set up beautifully. So with that said, on the eggs, I did talk about them last week, and it always seems to happen that there's somebody that will bring this up. And this person totally meant well. She just wanted to kind of, you know, give some people some ideas. And a lot of people say, well, I looked up, you know, I've heard people say you got to dehydrate it at this degree or this degree so you kill the salmonella. Well, here's the thing. The whole point of doing this is to keep the eggs raw on purpose, not because I plan on eating the raw egg powder, but because I plan on cooking and baking with it. This is why I dehydrate at a low heat. So I always remind people, when you go to make cookies or pumpkin pie or even scrambled eggs, you don't start with eggs that are already cooked. You start off with raw eggs. You add raw eggs to your cake mix. You add raw eggs to your cornbread mix. You add raw eggs to your cookies and your pies and whatnot. And they're going to get cooked in the baking process. This is why it's not a fear. So that is why I try to keep the eggs raw, and I dehydrate them at 115 degrees. So again, if you're going to use them for cooking and baking anyway, there's nothing to be afraid of at dehydrating at a lower heat. The people that share the information that dehydrating at a higher heat is so that they get cooked while they're dehydrating, but that is not what I want, because I don't want to use cooked eggs in the things that I'm baking. So just a reminder, but again, I'll share my video on how I make the dehydrated eggs and various ways that I use them in the description box down below. All right, now a little bit of housekeeping related stuff. So I had somebody comment on a video, I think it was last week's This and That, or saying if you guys are interested in any of our products that we make and we sell, and no, I don't sell any of my homemade medicinal stuff like that. The closest to that I come is the homemade skin cream that I use on my face every single day. But we do have other products that we make and sell. If you're wanting to know what we sell, it includes my own organic seeds from my own garden, mostly herb seeds. You just email me at raincountryhomestead@gmail.com, and I just shoot you out the product list. Well, last week I did bring that up, and somebody said, well, I've tried twice and all I got was crickets, so I gave up. Well, most likely what happened was you typed the address in wrong, because I've had people do that before where they left out the I or they left out the R in country, because it's not Rain County, it's Rain Country. And so if you're not putting in the correct address, I'm not going to get your email to be able to reply. Now, once in a rare occasion, it does happen that your email may end up in spam. And if I go to clean out my spam folder, I may miss it, though I do try to look through there. And, you know, every day before I clean it out, I do try to look. I get a lot of spam. I try to skim through there and see if there's anyone asking for a product list or anything else before I empty it out. But once on a rare occasion, it happens that I miss one. So it could simply be that. Don't give up just because I don't reply. The reason I'm not replying is because I'm not seeing your email. Anytime anybody sends me a request for a product list, if I'm available at the time that it comes in, or, you know, within a certain period of time that day, I immediately will shoot them out a product list, because it's all ready to go. I just shoot it right out there, and it's a simple, quick process. So if you're not hearing back from me within a day, now keep in mind I don't reply to emails on Saturdays at all, or typically not in the evening because I'm resting. But the other 6 days of the week during the day, I reply as fast as I can. So if you're not hearing from me within 24 hours, most likely your email hasn't come through. So don't give up. Just try again. Just double check that address. You probably got a typo in there that you didn't realize. So Rain Country Homestead, all one word, at gmail.com. And I promise, if it comes through, I will get back to you right away with that product list. Don't give up, people. Don't give up. Things happen. Whether it be my mistake or your mistake, it happens. We got to keep trying. So anyway, there's my this and that for the week. I hope you enjoyed this video, and be back next week, or I give you an update on the latest coffees I have coming in, as well as how that pumpkin pie turned out once I have a chance to actually taste it when it's all baked up. So and I might even share my recipe. It's really simple, but I'll try to remember to maybe share that pumpkin pie recipe, so maybe you can have it in time for whatever your next holiday is. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Take care, and God bless.